All right, guys, without further ado, let me bring in our very special guest, Tanya MFK. She's a global business strategy and goals success coach and a lot more. And we're here to learn all about it right now. So, Tanya, welcome aboard.
Hello, hello.
Wow, look at that vision. You guys, you go from like what we see every day now to this beautiful vision of angelicness right in front of our faces here.
Absolutely, I see it too.
Boy, I could tell when I come in, my producers are happy. Like, who do we have here? I'm like, wow, Yeah, no wonder these guys are in good mood. I don't have to like buy them food. So. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And so tell us a little about yourself and how you kind of develop yourself into your business. And then I want to get into what it's like to be a human being for the first time. All right.
All right. Well, what I do, I am a business strategy coach, as we talked about, focus on self mastery for economic success. So that's
Mm,
just a really fancy way to say, I'll help you with your business, but we're going to deal with this
yes.
first,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we do. Yeah.
I was it's so funny that we just don't take that for granted. We think we get an outside idea. Oh, I just got to do this idea, but we don't realize we're the ones self-sabotaging our success. And until you have somebody like you who says, "Hey, slow down. Let's not put
Yeah.
the horse in front of the cart here. Let's deal with one thing first." That's when you start seeing some mastery, right?
Yeah. Well, and we're fed that story. We're fed that story, that hustler dream, right? Like you
Hustler,
got to go.
baby.
Yeah, right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love listening to some Gary V, but after a while, I mean, you just get tired, right? You're like, come on, Gary, can I have an hour? Can I sleep a little? And we see it. You scroll through your Instagram feed and it's like hustle, repeat, do it on your own. It's like, man, that doesn't have to be part of our story. We can actually, our part of our story doesn't have to be, yeah, and then I almost hit burnout, lost my family, and then success happened. Like, we don't have to play that game.
No, we
So
don't.
yeah, so that's where I come in, and we do that one on one. We do coaching, we do retreats, we do all stuff globally. So we pull you back into being, as we
So,
talked about.
so Tanya, wow. I mean, this is fantastic. I mean, you look like you're, 19 years old. I'm sure you're much older, but maybe not too
I'll
much.
take it.
So
I'll
you'll
take
take,
it.
yeah, trust me, you'll be thanking me in about 10 years from now. You know, that slam was just really a big compliment. So here it is. I mean, how you're so far in advance of the curve here. I mean, when did you like? You must have had some struggles to get to this point. Usually
Of
the
course,
case. All right.
always, right?
Well, share
That's
share
how
the
we get
story.
anywhere.
Share the story, Tanya.
Whew. So nutshell, it's going to be a really big nut. Not sure which one that'll be, but it's
Right.
gonna be a big one. My background, I grew up super poor, lived in homeless shelters as a kid. Had a really kind of rough, tough upbringing, and fought my way through, school. Kind of realized there was no future, really. There was no college fund or anything happening for me. So I took high school really seriously. I was like, I'm gonna get all this free education that I possibly can because there ain't nothing else. And fought my way into a position doing clinical research for HIV and AIDS. So by 18 years old, I was running a clinical research department, as one does, and um, I was on this roll. I was like, man, I got to make this happen. Like this doesn't happen in my family, so it's time to just push. And I did the hustle. There was no Gary V at the time. He was there, but he was yelling at us. And so I was pushing out 16-hour days. I had to-do lists. Everything was minute by minute. I mean, I'm telling you, there was bathroom breaks in there,
Oh wow.
like and they weren't reasonable. I'm gonna tell you right honestly, they were 3 minutes. You had a
Are you
3 minute
serious?
bathroom break.
I mean,
I am not even
what if the
kidding. I
girls'
was
line usually you have to wait, right? Yeah,
I
I
was
know.
insane. I was insane, and it wasn't sustainable.
Yeah.
And but I was in this rush. Like I had to get there. I had to get to success. I had to do it soon. And by 25 years old, I became a widow to cancer. Yeah, and I was
Wow.
everything just
Yeah.
completely turned upside
Oh,
down.
when you're in your 20s, you're in love. I mean, you're not. That's like what youth. Love is for the youth. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, and that's crazy that at
yeah.
25 he died, or in your 20s he died. That's wow.
Yeah, he was 29, I was 25, and it happened in 6 months. He was diagnosed on my birthday, and 6 months later, it was done. Actually, 3 months later, yeah. So that was it. It was like that, and whole world upside down. Didn't want anything to do with the medical field after that. I just lived in hospitals at that point. I was like, and this whole time, I was sitting here living. I wasn't living. I was putting this future ahead of me, like this someday when I finally arrive, I'm going to slow down and I'll enjoy this. it was gone.
It's gone.
Right? Like
Yeah.
I squandered that away. I lost that time.
Oh God.
And yeah, and you know what? Fortunately for me, I was 25.
Yeah.
There's people who find this and realize this when they're 50, 60, 70 years old.
You know, it's so funny. When I was 25, I was like, oh my God, I'm a quarter century old. I'm so old, you know? Like, oh my God. How could I even think that now, you
It's all in
know?
the perspective,
How can I
right?
think that now at 26? I just don't understand that.
Oh,
So.
yeah, right. Wait till you're 30. Wait till you're 30.
Yeah. No, but go ahead. I mean, but most people, like you had this revelation or understanding at 25. Wow, I'm squandering my life. But think about it. Most people don't have that have until they're halfway done in their life. You know, have that understanding and realization.
Well, I always make the joke that not all of us are fortunate to have a tragedy in our life to smack us and wake us up. You know, not all of us are that lucky. You know, so what do we do, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does it take? And that's the thing is sometimes most people, like you knew it. You're like, she has some story because that's what pushes us there.
Yeah.
But there's another way, and that's what we're talking about later. Is like there's a way we can bring that into our lives minus the tragedy.
You're saying that we don't have to. You're saying that. Hold on, Tanya. You're saying that we don't have to learn through pain. We could actually learn through love.
Yeah.
No
right.
way. I'd never heard that concept before.
Imagine if we can make such amazing choices in grief and pain, what we can make in the midst of happiness and joy.
Wahid, Tanya's the person I want to. Do you want to hang out with her? Could she?
Yes,
Is she not like the most fun person you'd want to hang out with? Or where are you in LA? Where are you?
I'm originally from LA, but I'm actually in Prague right now. So you want to come have a great beer in Prague?
No way, she's in Prague, man. Yeah. Wow,
impressive.
I know. Tell you what. So, wow, great internet out there. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
And how long are you in Prague for?
Well, we travel full time.
Okay, full time.
My family and I, we travel full time. So this is kind of home base.
Right.
But I'll be leaving to Sweden on Tuesday.
Okay. Well, listen, you're doing it right. So here you are. I mean, you've had this horrible tragedy. Your husband passed at in his 20s from cancer, and your whole life's up. Did you have any kids at the time, or?
No.
Okay.
No kids.
Well, I would say thank God, but that definitely, I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. Yeah, yeah.
It happened. The two questions I always got was, did you have kids, and was he a good guy? Because he wasn't. And they'd be like, well, good for you.
You got out clean. But knowing you, what I know of you so far is that you only marry good guys. So I can imagine that. So here you are. Your whole life was just turned upside down at 20, and at 25, you may be a little different, but most 25-year-old mentalities, we don't have the experience level to help us usually handle this type of experience at that young age. Usually doesn't happen that way because we're not trained to. So, I mean, you talk about adding double the amount of stress in your life based on that alone. So when we get back from break, Tanya, let's pick up right where we left off, and what you do to basically transmute your life to go from where you were and lost to on your way to where you are today. All right, guys, we're talking to Tanya Krenzinger, I should say, but known as TanyaMFK. I'm going to call her TanyaMFK, man. That sounds so much cooler.
Like a ninja, like a cool ninja.
Like a ninja, right? MFK in the house, guys. You guys want to reach her or check her out while we're waiting for this break here, buildabiz.com, biz.net, sorry, buildabiz.net. Check her out, learn about her, and then we'll have a lot more to go hear from her in a minute. We'll see you in a sec. All right, we are back with Tanya MFK. Also, you can catch her on another website, which is TanyaMFK.com. That's easier, yeah, TanyaMFK.com. So we left off, a tragedy, and although I have a feeling that you don't believe in death, do you believe in death, or do you believe life carries on after you die? Oh, you're not sure yet. All right.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that mix there, though. But I don't really believe in tragedy, though. So if I can flip that.
All right. Well, that's getting warmer. If you had like Marco Polo, you're getting warmer there. So. And she's calling from Prague, man. This is great. I love these little surprises. All right. So what'd you do? I mean, you went through your grieving process, I assume.
Yes and no. I got to go through a lot of the grieving process with him. So that was really a different experience. He planned his own funeral. I mean, it was such a different thing. And then from there, having worked in HIV and AIDS, for since I was 18 to 25, dealing with that, that was a process I was,
Are you a nurse by trade?
No, I did clinical research. I was a clinical research associate.
Okay.
but that's one of many things I've done. So, so actually a big turning point was we were, young, 25 from the US, wanted to go the big Europe trip and we had planned it. Then my husband got sick and passed away. So a friend called and said, I know this is a weird time, but we're still going to go on that trip if you want to go. And I was like, this like not be the worst possible time. I have no job. I have no home. I'd moved back home, doing all the bills and all this stuff. Like I have nothing. Like this is the worst time to do something like that. And then that little script got flipped. Or is it the best time? You have no job. You have no house. There's no rent. There's no one to show up. They're like, what do you mean? Go do something different. And as I think most people have with, traveling, especially coming from such a poor background and not ever seeing this as an opportunity for me. It just opened my eyes. It just opened my everything to go, I can do whatever I want.
Right.
Like the whole world is open to me. And so from there, I dabbled. I was like, I'm going to try it all. I was making purses and selling them at shows. I worked in music. I managed a hip hop artist.
Oh my God. You got your fun hustler on, didn't you?
Oh, I did. I did tours. We did all kinds of fun stuff. Grammy events. From there, I ended up oddly transitioned into working with natural products. So water, like worked with Nestle doing like the water nationally across the US, which was real competitive. And then from there did lots of work in the CPG industry, which is consumer packaged goods. So if you ever, anything you see on the shelves in Whole Foods, like I helped get a lot of that stuff on there. Like that was my job.
No way. Well, thank you in advance. Thank you. Or thank you in hindsight.
Yeah. A lot of those products. As a matter of fact, Natural Product Expo is going on in Anaheim right now, and that's like my virtual Disneyland.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I did all that, and then from there, I just kept kind of seeking whatever opportunity was there, and it just kind of took me, and I went with it. I ended up on a C-level position for marketing. So through all that, I ended up marketing. I was really good at that, and working with a former Clippers player, and we did this physical education business, as one does when you do this path that I do.
Right.
And so the artist that I had worked with, I love that you guys mentioned Ninja earlier, because I think this is a nice segue, but the artist that I worked with, he got a contract with Chivas Regal and was touring in China. Go Vital MC, anyone who wants to check him out. He was touring in China and trying to convince me to go. And I was like, look, I want to travel up. China wasn't top of my list. And I was like, but if I did go to China, I want to see the Shaolin Temple. Like that sounds awesome. Yes. I would love to go to Shaolin Temple. Wu-Tang fan, all this stuff. So Shaolin Temple.
Exactly.
I loved it. So I was like, yeah, but it's not going to happen. So running my business. He calls me. He's like, guess what I found out? You can go train at the Shaolin Temple as a foreigner, as a woman. You can actually go to the actual Shaolin Temple and you can train.
Wow.
That sounds cool. Of course, who's going to do that?
I know.
So who would do that? So I drank just drinking with some of my colleagues that night, the CEO of the company and the other C-level. And we're just chatting and talking about how that business was going. Everything was real steady and kind of boring because everything was going well. And I said, this would be a perfect time for me to go to the Shaolin Temple and study Kung Fu. I'm joking.
Yeah. I'm a big David Carradine fan too. Kung Fu was one of my favorite shows growing up. So I'm with you on that one, Tanya.
Oh yeah. Well, so I tell him this, and a couple days later, he's like, if you're gonna do something wild like that, you should do something like that now because everything's calm. You should take out. And I was like, what are you crazy? Like, I'm just gonna leave the business and go study Kung Fu? Like, I don't even know anything about Kung Fu. So I packed everything up and put it in my storage. Got rid of my house.
A true adventurous right there. Come on, man. Don't you that when you're 20s? I guess, and I could do that now if I really wanted to, but I wouldn't want to.
When you're young like that, no children, that's when you got to do it.
By now, guys. Yeah. So let that be
good
a
for you.
For that. I was already.
She got the bug. She knew what she was doing.
Yeah, I knew. I was like, well, got to do it now, right? So went to the Shaolin Temple and studied Kung Fu for a year. So ended up meeting my future husband, who was from Czech Republic, hence Prague.
Right.
And he was also studying Kung Fu. And we traveled the world together from there. And we I traveled India, studied Ayurvedic medicine. I did traditional Chinese medicine at Shanghai University. Then I traveled through Southeast Asia, Australia, Japan, Korea, happened to speak Korean. And then came home and was like, you know what? I'm not really into this anymore. So I left again and went through Central America, and then found out I was pregnant, and came back to the U.S. Had my son. He's 3 years old, and
Everybody always comes back to the U.S. to have the kid, you know? It's like,
yeah,
I'll drop by there for a second. We can get that citizenship in real quick here. But, then I'm off to the races, Just like my backup plan, But go ahead. No, I love it. But this is this is incredible. How many people do want to live her life? Not maybe to go through the tragedy part of it, but how many just want to stop and let go and just be and go and just explore the world, I mean, look, she found her husband in freaking China, come on, at a tell me that wasn't, see, divinity, and you don't know where you're on the divinity piece, but that's called divine timing, right? When you you're opening yourself up to the flow, this comes into your life, and you just kind of go with it. But continue on the adventure. I hate to even stop you. I'm like, I'm living vicariously right now through her. Are you guys not? I mean, who's not listening? Aren't you everybody listening, living through her? Go ahead.
Well,
what's next?
You don't have to, guys. You can do this too. So then got to the U.S. and was doing well. I was really excited. Actually, I hadn't had my baby. I was still pregnant, 8 months pregnant, and had my little nest egg. From all these wonderful jobs and businesses that I had moved up to, and found out at 8 months pregnant that one of our business partners had taken everything, and I had nothing in the bank anymore.
Ba-boom. Round 2.
Yeah. And you know what's weird? People don't usually want to hire an 8-month pregnant woman to do work.
Are you serious? I don't really. No.
Very strange. I know. They can't say that, but it's a thing.
So you have no money. You got a baby. At least you had a husband, but you got no money.
I'm in California
and
now,
in California,
right? So, I mean, really, cheap place to live, as people
You got to
know,
live with 15 other people in the same room there just to survive.
Yeah, so that's happening. And after 3 weeks of my kind of pity party, I was like, well, I got to figure this out. So called up some of my old
contacts,
CPG natural products people, and was like, hey, they're like, yeah, come on, work with this this $1 million startup. Did work with them. I was miserable. I was absolutely miserable. I was back to doing the 20-hour days, nursing my son. He was just being brought in like a spot of tea, just kind of brought in and taken out. Like, that's just what he does. So it was bad. I gotta tell you, man, I was miserable. And I'm looking at I'm getting money, but it's it's going away every month, and it wasn't a way to live.
So how'd you shift? How'd you shift from that type of mind state?
To being miserable, or to getting out of it?
Well, both. I mean, because I'm sure it was it was hand in hand. Goes hand in hand.
It was everything starts with awareness, right? Everything starts with the awareness. Like you get into it, and you're just pushing it, and you're focused on pushing that ball, right? You're just pushing it, but you never look up to go like, hey, are we even headed in the right direction? Right. So like I finally, something knocked me to do that. I think it was probably one of my final, just sleepless nights with the baby, the everything, just hating everything I was doing. And
poor husbands always get the worst of that at that point in the life,
Right.
Thank God they stick around, with Tanya, of course she'd never lose her husband, but seriously, I mean, but you said you're done and you couldn't take it anymore.
Couldn't take it anymore. There had to be something else. Quit the job, with the encouragement. I did have support my husband going, because he can remember, guys, he's from Czech. He can't work in the U.S. There's no support.
Oh, wow. Right? Yeah.
It's only me.
Yeah.
That's it.
Gotcha.
So that's fun too. So, he's supporting me as much as he can.
Yeah.
And
I got the dishes. I got the garbage. You go out and you go with the baby, go make some money for us.
Make it happen. So yeah, we sold everything that we had. We had like a 6-week garage sale.
Oh, wow.
Which I've made amazing friends from that garage sale, because as you can tell, I talk a lot. So I had a lot of stories of the stuff I was getting rid of. I was like, well, this came from the Shaolin Temple. They're like, what? So
do you have a dragon and a tiger on each of your arms?
You know what? I have one from like almost every country, and this I have the Dharma wheel. Which
the Dharma wheel, yeah.
Yeah,
that's the wheel. That's the wheel that Daenerys always says she's going to break, right? Okay, yeah. Okay. Just making sure. If you're Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones
we sold
fan.
everything that fit on a 3-foot by 3-foot pallet. So if you guys are familiar with the size of a pallet, our entire life fit on that pallet, and we shipped over the check, and we said, "See you later, the U.S."
Boom.
and figured out how to do a business on my own without contracting out. And now we travel full time.
That's is a incredible story. I mean, I love the energy. I love the decisions. You know, it's just like, you know, there was a quote I read a little earlier. It said, you know, birds historically, they'll they'll only stay in one area their whole life, right? And they have wings to fly anywhere in the world, but we stay in one place, right, all our lives.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing when you could break once it's like a learned behavior. You break that first seal, then wow, you really now a whole nother world opportunities open up. You know, so many people are lost their job, they lost their husbands, they lost their wives, or whatever it may be, and they stay in the same place, and they can't change it up a little bit, you know. And I'm not just saying you got to move to change it up, but it's like kind of a bringing a new energy in, you know. And when we get
Yeah.
back from or we can take a break here. We get back from break. I want to talk more about what you have done, because you're a woman of action, at least a woman of inspired action. Let's say that at least, apparently. So, what have you done to kind of bring yourself into that state of peace, that state of being? And what does it mean to you? What does it mean to you, Tanya, to be a human being now, since you are of action? So I'd be curious to kind of see that kind of almost outside contradiction of it all, right? Guys, we're talking to Tanya MFK in the house from Prague. So much more to come. And you check her out, TanyaMFK.com. While you're on break, we'll be right back. We'll see you in a sec.
Download the UI Media Smart app at uimediaapp.com to watch and listen to all your favorite shows anytime from anywhere in the world. Shows that enrich, entertain, educate, and feeds the conscious cells throughout your body. We bring you never heard before topics in health, inspiration, music, psychics, numerology, current affairs, controversies, and much, much more. So what are you waiting for? Visit www.uimediaapp.com and start raising your frequency now.
All right, we are back with the ever-moving Tanya MFK. And this has been a great story. I'm just so glad you're on our show today, because you really just made my day. And what an inspiration you are for so many others. You've had tragedies, and you went from one after the other, and then you're not. I guess when you're a kid, you're just single-minded, right? You're probably born this way. I could imagine. You know, a little bit, yeah. Never give up. Next. I don't let anything hold me down. That's great energy to have. And you know, I guess you learn your discipline. You learn your inside work when you're doing kung fu, I would assume.
Yeah.
Was that a
There's
big
lot
step
there.
in that direction? So where are you now? I mean, what's it like being a human being in Tanya's perspective?
Well, see, I think, talking about how you said, people, do you want to live like this and live vicariously through you? And I get that a lot. And that's where I start to come to, what does it take for us to do those things that we want? Because they always seem like it'd be, must be nice, or, that's nice for you, but and then here's my limiting belief in my story. And so a lot of everything that I look at is like, I'm very practical. I love that you mentioned the difference. Like, they seem very, action and then like peace, but it is that, like there's a lot of these books, wonderful books. I read them all the time. I love, Joe Dispenza and Bruce
Ooh,
Lipton
yeah.
and all these, and they're wonderful. I know you've had him on the show, right? So he's amazing. And so you read that and you're like, oh man, this is awesome. Like, it's changed my life. And then you step outside and you're like, well, now what do I do?
I gotta pay the rent, and I'm hungry.
What do I do now?
Yeah, and the kids got to eat.
Well, and what's the step, right? What's the step? And that's where I think I come into, from my business, from my life, from everything I go as an example, is how do we go from this wonderful concept and how do I bring it into my life practical? Like, I want a worksheet. I want an email. I don't want to just tell me to go meditate on it. Like, that's a wonderful thing. I love meditation, but like, what about when stuff just gets crazy?
I'll
right?
I'll meditate when I'm dead.
Right?
Just kidding.
I'm all for it, but I need some practical steps. Tell me,
Yes.
day 1, do this. Day 2, try that. And I believe that the things that we want, the thing that, our purpose, I think it's crap. I don't think we have a purpose. I think life is the purpose, and the awareness of going, you know what, I should live, and I should do it freaking well. So let me make some conscious choices and decisions on where I want to go. People ask you when you're a teenager, what do you want to be when you grow up? And which is a ridiculous question. That's a whole other thing. But and then we stop. We're never really, we don't stop to go, what do I want to do now? What do I want to do in 3 months? What do I want to do this year? What do I want to accomplish? Now we start living by default. We don't live in design. We're not designing this life. It's like we kind of get to this point and go, well, this is the way it is. This is it. And everything else, might happen, or it'll happen someday, right? And I love the someday.
You hit on it. Such important parts here. I want to just emphasize what you just said, because most of us feel like we have to have a purpose, and our purpose usually often we default to a career, and then usually you're in the career like, oh my God, this is what I've been suffering and preparing for all my life. And then now you're saying that life by design, that we don't have to have that. You're saying we could actually design what we want in midair. Like we could design it, the airplane in midair. We don't have to wait until everything's built, and then we could go fly it. And
that's the purpose.
Right. Maybe that's the purpose. You're saying maybe that's the purpose, right?
Yes. Because I feel like when we try to find this noble cause, right, that like this magical thing that somehow we're not privy to, that we need to discover, right? We need to discover it. What happens for the people who don't discover it? Did they fail? And what did they fail at? Life?
Right.
Like, what kind of deal is that? Like, no, I think the search for a purpose is us outsourcing our self-worth. It's us saying that if I can find that thing, then it can justify my existence.
Outsourcing self-worth. Oh my God. I feel like I need to start taking notes here or something. Thank God this is being recorded.
It's another t-shirt.
Another t-shirt. Stop outsourcing self-worth, baby. All right. Continue on, soldier.
Yeah. So, and that's what I get. It's not about finding it. It's not like finding your purpose, your life purpose. It's living on purpose.
Living on purpose.
Taking those things and going, okay, I'm going to take this thing I got, which is being alive, and do it consciously and go. And I mean, when I say conscious, like being aware and going, okay, I want to go there, and I'm going to create that. Because most people, they think they have goals, but in actuality, they have preferences. They would prefer to be thinner. They would prefer to have a nice car. They would prefer to play guitar. A goal, by definition, is an object of effort. The effort means action, right? Yeah. That's an object of effort. Not
I'll will myself it.
Right, right. Yeah, it's not an object of desire. It's an object of effort. So if there's not an effort, if there's not specific steps to go to there, you don't have goals. You don't have a focus. You don't have a life that's going to get designed. You have a life that's going to be by default. And it's going to be by default with what everyone else around you accepts as mediocrity. And it's a virus.
It's a virus.
And that is, and it's okay, because we all go, well, he's sick, she's sick. Yeah, well, we're all, yeah, it's fine then.
Right, yeah.
The ones who do this, we're the weird ones, right? Yeah. We're the ones who go, what do you mean you just leave to China? You're the weird one. You should leave to China. Everyone should leave to China. Anywhere else. I mean, it doesn't have to be.
No,
we're stop on the map.
Listen, brilliant. And so being a human being to you is being purposefully designing what, I don't know if you want to say preferences, you take into account your preferences and then purposely designing goals around your preferences. Is that what you're kind of saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's really like being aware of what you want, right? What you want. It doesn't have to be this like lofty goal purpose. It's like, well, yeah, the goals. What is it that I want now? What is it I want tomorrow? What do I want in 10 years? And then designing your environment and life around that to go there. And checking in with yourself regularly to say, is this still what I want?
What do you find often with not only your clients, but just people in general that you run into in life? What are some of the goals or preferences that they say they want, but they never take action for it? What are some of the common ones?
Oh, things that they want that they don't take action for. I mean, travel's always a big one.
Right.
It's
travel's scary. Travel's scary.
Yeah. It costs a lot, right? That's the thing. It costs too much. Or even for business goals, maybe they have a certain amount of followers they want to get or a certain level of income they want to get to. But they have the number. So they think that they have a goal. But they didn't do the footwork. They go, well, what is that? A goal, there's an anatomy to a goal. And I have this, like, it's a what? That's your goal? And it's WWWAA, right? So, or HAA. So it's what is the goal? What's the specifics?
Uh-huh.
When is it going to happen? When's the deadline? Why is it actually important to you? Because a lot of times we choose goals, believe it or not, because like they're popular, they're trending, like, oh, it's a good goal, I should do that. But you just throw on some random goal and go like, yeah, I'm going to read 5 books a month too, because that sounds like, because Richard Branson does it. That's a good idea. But you haven't rolled back to go, wait, well, what are my actual values and what I want in life? And does reading 5 books, while a great, lofty, trendy thing to do, is it in line with my goals and values of what I want for my life right now? And no one's going to go, reading books is a bad thing. It's not. Of course, it's wonderful. But again, we're picking them just randomly. We're not really looking at like, well, why is that important to you?
Wow.
And then how?
And
how are you going to get there? What are the steps? And then the how, that's just one part. So then what is the actual action you're going to take to do that how?
I think a lot of people get to that point to the H and they go, ugh, okay, I'm going to go back to the 3 Ys, the 3 Ws.
Back to the Ys, yeah. And then we have the action, and then we have the analysis, because we can go, well, now I can look at that action, I can look at that how, and then I can go, is that actually in line, like I said before, with my values and things that I say are important to me, where I want to go?
How did you?
So sometimes we might choose goals even for other people. I mean, they can realize that, like, I don't even really care about this. I'm doing this because it sounds good and I should do it, but I don't actually care about it.
Sure. How did you figure out what your values were? And when
I asked.
Yes. Who'd you ask?
You get clarity through questions.
Who do you ask?
Who do you ask? You ask yourself. And this is a huge thing.
Right.
We're not taught this, and our friends don't call us up, or no one calls us up, let's be honest. So our friends don't text us, and go, hey, you know what, Tanya, how you doing? What are your goals? What are your ambitions? What do you value right now? Like, that doesn't happen at cocktail parties. That doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't have a cute butt is more like it, So we go here.
If someone's asking you that question, it's probably for a job interview, and you're gonna lie. You're like, I see myself here with you, right? Like, that's, come on. And it's not, we don't ask. So it's up to us. And how did we know it's up to us? We don't know. So we don't ask. And then we go back to default.
Mm.
So we find clarity through questions. People want to discover it, or I shouldn't say we find it. Like we get it by asking questions. It's something we discover. It's not something we get. I just need to get clear on this. No, you need to ask questions, and then you'll get clarity. That's how we get there. And the more we get that clarity, the more it unveils, like, oh, this is kind of what I want. And how will I get there? And what could I do? So then these are the steps I should take. This is what my day would look like. This is what my evening would look like. And we start to get really minute. I sit with my clients, and we have morning routines. We have end of day routines. We have assessments at the end of the week. And it's not about like crazy work, like how many followers did you guys know? We're working on us, because the more that we take this kind of approach, like a practical step-by-step approach, this life and possibilities open up. Instead of it being this like just kind of fluffy, wonderful spiritual thing we talk about. Like, I love to take it from that, because that's where I get it too. It is inside, it is that spiritual side, but I want to bring it into some concrete brick and mortar and go, what does that look like at 6 a.m.?
Boy, you truly are not only a pragmatist, but an entrepreneurial pragmatist. So let me ask you a question though. Did you learn your spirituality, or did you appreciate your spirituality? Was it Taoism when you were in China, or what do you kind of subscribe to try to explain if you do even believe in a higher power? Or higher self?
I'm like, yes, absolutely, higher self. I mean, knowing ourselves. I mean, a lot of what we did in China was based on Dharma, Bodhidharma, and I'm trying to think. Why is it just escaped me? We just talked about the
Taoism.
Wheel,
usually
the Dharma wheel. No, it was where. It's the Shaolin Temple. I wish someone was watching right now that could tell me. So at the Shaolin Temple, we had to run up this crazy mountain every Friday. And there is a statue, and there's this cave where name that escapes me right now, meditated for 9 years to do Zen Buddhism, right?
Yeah. She's so cute, is she not?
That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
So, and I've never forgot that. I mean, this exact moment, I'm like, what was that? What was that guy saying?
So it's like, so what do you gravitate towards when things don't go your way? When you look up, who are you thinking of?
I gravitate towards Buddhism. I
Okay.
gravitate towards, because I always kind of come back to me. What responsibility do I have? What is it that I
God
can
within
take?
you.
And the oneness, absolutely, that oneness. If you've ever read the Master Key System, I love that. It really talks about the interconnectedness and all that. But I get really weird on a level, and I'm gonna partially blame this on an ex-boyfriend who was just that kind of, everything's love and light, and he could be like, punching a teddy bear and be like, everything's fine, the universe is great, and you're like, so great there, buddy. Like, maybe we need to have our feelings.
How about I start punching you?
Right? Yeah. So when I hear that kind of overly like,
granola, the granola, everything's happy.
Yeah, there you go. I'm trying to find a nice, respectful way to say it, and so that's a good one. I'm going to start using that.
Yeah.
I should stop using my ex-boyfriend as an example.
Hey, payback, so you know what,
Right,
so.
So yeah, I get real weird at that, but I very much believe it. I just feel like I have sour taste in it. So when I can take it down to some real practical terms, then it becomes okay for me. Then it's like, okay, well, this makes sense. You take this beautiful concept and something like Jesse Elder's talking about or something, and go, okay. And that's why I think someone like Bruce Lipton, where we got the science in it.
Yeah.
We got this. I'm like, this is.
You sink your teeth into
this,
that.
I feel it. Yeah, the neuroscience. We get the Joe Dispenza. I mean, those kind of things. Bringing in Benjamin Hardy with willpower doesn't work. We're talking psychology in there, and it's just that's where I lean. Does that answer the kind of?
Absolutely. Listen, I love it. You're grounded in this three-dimensional world. That's and at the same time, you're dealing with a lot of, etheric type concepts and beliefs, and so I think it's just it's a good place to be. I mean, I'm science grounded. I really am. People might think, really, Tim? You talk about past lives, and I'm like, I am. I mean, to me, it makes more sense, so it has to be pragmatic to me, at whatever reason.
Well, and I think it's similar to you. It's like I'm not denying it. It's like I'll be like, I'll entertain that idea,
Sure.
but I'm not like, I'm not 2 feet in. I'm just like, okay,
yeah, exactly. Listen, I don't define God or anything like that, because I truly believe we missed the whole point of it, of she, of him, or whatever it is. So I just think I think the collective oneness, interconnectedness, I think that's safe for me to go along with. Universe, higher power, unconditional love, source.
One consciousness kind of thing. I vibe with that.
Bob Marley,
Right.
So, by the way, I'm going to be meeting Bob Marley. I don't know if I'm going to be meeting Bob Marley's daughter Monday with Lauren. Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
I hope you're not meeting Bob Marley. That kind of sounded like a really.
I did have
a very morbid situation going on here.
I did have a psychic on who speaks to the dead today, so we probably could have spoke to him if we wanted to, but we digress. When we get back from break, Tanya, let's talk about what you have coming up. You got your book coming out in April, and you have some events coming up. So let's go there and find out what goes on in Tanya's mind, and how is she changing the world, leveling up one person at a time through her business coaching and success stories. All right, guys, check her out, TanyaMFK.com. Go in there now. We'll be right back. Hey, come on, Wahid. I can't stop now. What are you doing to me?
Hey, bust a rhyme.
Yeah. Hey. you thought I was going to do something. Tanya, could you follow me on that one? Could you help me out on that one?
I could be a great hype man. You have no idea. I've had to fill in before. I'm not even kidding.
You got lyrics or what?
She got lyrics in there. Hey, Tanya, I bet you don't even drink coffee, do you?
Oh, I do. Not very much anymore.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, you have
I have a toddler now. Are you kidding me? I do anything I want to sleep. Valium. Do they make liquid Valium? Because that would help me out.
One thing I really love about interviewing with you is that you have an excellent sense of humor. I mean, you're spot on. I mean,
absolutely.
Doesn't she? Do you ever do any? Little comedy routines? Everyone improv or anything like that in your past?
I mean, I think they are, my friends or something, but I don't know if anyone else would consider it professionally. What's funny is my brother's just got a sense of humor as well, and he's an LA sheriff, And
No
so
kidding.
he used to go and not tell anyone and like go do stand up at like clubs. And,
No
like,
kidding. Oh wow,
yeah.
that's funny. Now that's funny.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
So you have a book coming out. What's the name of your book? And tell us about it.
So the book is Goals to Game Plan, and it's really all about that. It's about taking your goal. I don't care what it is. If it's a business, obviously I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. That's kind of the area I gravitate towards, but we also do a lot of life by design work. So if it's, growing your business, if it's building a rocket to Mars, or if it's just saving for your next, for your first trip somewhere, it's about taking that goal and then creating that game plan. And I'm walking you through the specific steps to do it. And I'm giving you every piece of worksheet that I wish when I read books they gave me to actually put it into a real solid plan. So I'm not going to just tell you a bunch of stuff and go, hey, good luck with that. We're going to give you all the pieces. And that's just really kind of something just from my heart that I was like, just do this, just do it. You could do it. It's all right here. So Goals to Game Plan, it's coming out in April.
Oh, wonderful. You bet you're pretty excited about that. I guess you have a little time on your hands now with the toddler, huh?
Oh yeah, so much free time. So you do. And traveling. Don't forget the traveling full time as well.
Right. Yeah, at least your husband can get work now. We're in Prague, so it's not all on your shoulders anymore.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. And I know you have some events coming up here. Tell me about some of the events you got. What are you doing?
So we have a retreat coming up in October. It's going to be in Bali.
This is for anybody who wants to fly to Prague, by the way. Just FYI, anybody.
Yeah.
So.
Anyone come to Prague? It's a great thing. We actually do private
let me tell you
retreats
something. Czech Republic has the most beautiful people I've ever seen in my life. In fact, I would go there just for that reason, just to stare at people, And the dogs, the Czech German Shepherd Shih-Tzu trained dogs are the best dogs in the world. The Czech Republic. See,
I didn't know that. I didn't know there was a specific Czech dog.
There are, and in fact, they're German Shepherds, and I breed German Shepherds, so I'm very familiar with that. And a buddy of mine gets them from Czech. He flies them in from Czech just specifically because of that.
Stare at the dogs now. You can stare at the people. I'm going to stare at the dogs. Try to figure that out.
There you go. See, I'll go stare at the dogs, German Shepherds, and then all the Czech girls. At least I'll do that. So. One or the other.
Well known for that. Well, actually, we do we do private retreats. I say we have a team with me as well. Okay. So we do private retreats for entrepreneurs who really just need to get like a lot done in a short amount of time. Actually, fly them out, and we work together for it's a kind of a unique situation. Not a lot of coaches do, and so I've done that in Sweden, and we also do that in Prague. And so we have that, and then the retreat that's coming up, it's in Bali. So if you can't catch me in Prague, you can come catch me in Bali.
God, it's just so hard places to go to. I just don't know.
I know.
You make it so difficult. Yeah.
And I'm really excited about this one because we always do planning retreats. I'm obviously, we do really exciting stuff like plan your business, but it's really about that every single step, right? I like to have stuff ahead of time.
You're detailed oriented. You're OCD. I bet when it comes to planning this stuff, because a little bit.
I want to even show you my calendar right now. Be like, it'll scare you. I mean, it's color coded. I mean, it's great. So, I love it though. But we take you to do that, but we really focus on this work-life balance. And it's not work-life balance where it's like you go away and we'll show you balance. No, we're gonna every day you experience it in a way that you can take home with you. Minus maybe the Bali part. So we wake up early, we do morning routines, we teach you like you don't get to check your email right away. You focus on like you, and then you do like your good work, and we do all this stuff, and we're gonna have massages and surfing and yoga and all that fun stuff. Oh, wow. And you get your whole business planned for the next year, headshots, your new business videos, which is really valuable. So we do that. That's
a lot, and because to me, like that's like work for the new entrepreneur. That's like work, right? Oh my God, I got to do all the business plan together. But you're doing it with fun. You're bringing fun in. So by the time they're done, like, oh my God, did I just put a business plan together? I want to go back in the ocean again. It's like you don't even realize it. It's like you're kind of the frog. You're not burnt out.
You actually slept. You checked your email. Your inbox isn't full. Holy crap! Can it be real?
Yeah, I could use some help on that. My email has owned me. It has owned me, and everybody hates me because I don't respond. I can't even respond back on phone anymore.
I got methods for you, Tim. I got methods.
All right. Well, can you send them this way? I may not be able to make it to Bali, but maybe you could send me telepathy. We could help me out in that way.
Or you come for the retreat in Prague. That's
hey,
what I'm hearing.
I'll come to the retreat in Prague. So count me on that one because I was gonna make a trip out there. Honestly, I was gonna.
There you go.
Yeah, because of the German Shepherds. But now I'll kill two dogs with one stone.
German Shepherds and Tanya.
Yeah. There you go. Look at that. The
Why
two
not?
German Shepherd Tanya trip tour. United Intentions were on. So this is wonderful. What inspired you to write a book? Besides, every entrepreneur has to have a book.
You know what? I wasn't planning on writing a book, and this just goes to show the OCD part of me. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have a little nice giveaway, kind of an outline. I'm always talking about goals and how they work, so I'll do a little outline. And I started writing one day, and about 5 hours later, I had 13 chapters. So I was like, this is a little much to be like, hey, I was like, maybe I should make this a book. So I went a little further in it, and as you've noticed, I have a lot to say.
Yes, you do.
Which
is
I don't have
good.
to save my voice. I actually just type it. I was like, oh, this is wild. No one shut me up on this one. So
well,
figure.
I'm looking forward to that coming out. In fact, when you do get one, send one to us. We'll pick one up for you, and we'll have you back on. We'll even talk more about that. So what's next for Tanya outside of how old? Your 2-year-old, 3-year-old boy? Son?
3-year-old boy.
Okay.
Speaks 3 languages. He's pretty awesome.
Let me tell you something. What we're learning is the first 7 years of life is the most influential because they're in theta. They're in hypnosis.
Yes.
So if you're going to learn 3 languages, learn first 7 years. 3 years old and he speaks 3 languages. Isn't that is that not insane, people? My gosh. And is Mandarin one of them or Korean?
No, he actually speaks English, Czech, and Spanish.
Oh, Spanish.
And due to our time, I'm half Mexican.
Yes.
I'm Mexican Irish, and then
I have to remember that combination, Mexican and Irish. All right, we got to do that a little more purposefully these days. Then, all right.
Yeah, look for them. There's a lot actually. It's very strange. I'll say O'Connor.
See her sense of humor, man. She is just too much. God, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have this much fun on an interview. I really shouldn't. You make me cry now.
It's great. It's good. This is what we need. It's good for the soul. I was just gonna say, he knows a couple words in Vietnamese and stuff like that too, because we traveled in Vietnam, and I think one of his earliest words, and I'm not even joking, was pad thai when we were in Thailand. So he didn't know how to say his name yet, but he knew how to order pad thai. So priorities.
Yeah, priorities. Exactly right.
He had his goals straight.
So 5 years from now, close your eyes. What do you want? What do you see yourself doing? What do you want to be? Where are you? What's in store for Tanya and her business success?
I am speaking. I want to do a lot more speaking. I really, it's not even about a revenue stream for me. I mean, yes, it's a great thing. But I do feel called, whatever you want to do it, to share this story, because I'm surrounded still, even with close friends and family who have that someday mentality. And whoever I can awaken and shake up and say, the time is now. The time is now. We have now, and life can be freaking amazing and so much fun if you just allow it to be. If you just say, you know what, I'm making that choice and I'm going to do it.
That message, Tanya, everyone needs to hear it. You go and say it again, because you're right. Say it again, honestly, because people need to hear this message.
We can live now. There is no someday. There's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on a calendar. There is no someday, people. So we can do it now. Don't wait to live. I did it. I started that way and I missed out on a lot of life. So it is time to live now. It's time to design the life you want now. Don't live by default. Make the choices, be conscious about it, and live your dream life. Because the version, and I'm gonna write this. I actually had to write it down because I always forget and I say this wrong. But I love this quote, and it's: the definition of hell is that on your last day on earth, the person you could have become met the person you became.
Wow! Say that again. Say that again.
The definition of hell on your last day on earth, the person you could have become meets the person you became.
Wow. Yes. Look at that. That's terrible. They should never meet. You know.
I want to be like, hey, twinsy, and like everything's all good.
I know,
Twinsy.
Twinsy. Oh my God, you're so much fun. So so that's wonderful. What would you get now? I know you're not too far off from 18 years of age. So what advice would you give the 18-year-old Tanya at this point? Outside of what you just gave us.
I mean, 18-year-old Tanya was pretty savvy, but she was
all right. Go back to the 10-year-old. Go back to the 10-year-old Tanya.
No, you know what? 18-year-old Tanya though was in a race. 18-year-old Tanya was trying to win at life, I guess, trying to do it because she had come from such messed up foundations that it was like, there's got to be a better way, which that's the bonus. But it was like, and I got to be the best at it. And it was like, it's unsustainable. And that this arrival, and this is what I would tell her, and I've said this many times actually, you don't ever arrive. So if you are racing toward this moment where you think it will finally be okay, like it's so, one day it'll finally be okay. I'm here to burst your bubble. It won't. You don't arrive. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. You're going to have peaks. You're going to have valleys. I have it tattooed on my arm right here, which is anicca, which is one of the 4 tenements of Buddhism, which means impermanence. The only thing you can count on is that it will always be different.
Boy, on that note, wow, impermanence, everything will change, right? It's inevitable.
Yes.
And wonderful advice, wonderful story, wonderful whole interview has been fantastic. Hang on a second when we close out here, okay? If you can, for 1 minute.
Sure, absolutely.
And just guys, I want to thank you, Tanya, for coming on. Again, catch her at TanyaMFK.com, and she has a book coming out in April, so we'll have her back before then or around then after the book comes out. And guys,
I got some goodies on there too, Tim. Don't mean to interrupt you, but we got some goodies. If anyone goes there, check it out. You can get some of these workshops we talked about. The worksheet we talked about, all free, no catch. I'm not going to sell you on anything. Just go there and get good.
And that's TanyaMFK.com. Guys, don't forget, you got Amy Darius. This is 6 o'clock today. Check her out. You're going to enjoy that. We'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.